Well, Downton Abbey is just a TV show, but for our next guest, that very castle is his real home. Lord Carnarvon is here along with Her Majesty's Consul General Richard Hyde. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, when you say Downton Abbey anything, everyone goes, what? This is actually the castle where it was, that was shot at, right?
Yes, Highclere Castle is my home. It's an extraordinarily beautiful early Victorian building. Same architect as the Houses of Parliament, that's why it looks a little bit the same there. And the family's owned the estate and the land there since 1679, so we've been around there a few years.
That's what's so crazy about when you go to other countries, is that the history is so long there, built on foundations of medieval palace, and it served as several things besides a castle, didn't it?
Yes, over the years, the castle's been extraordinary. And World War I, my amazing grandmother, Almina, Lady Almina, she was in the 5th Countess, she turned it into a fully operating hospital. And in World War II, it was a home for refugees from London, and because it's been a proper family home, entertaining people from all over the world, of statesmen and celebrities for many years.
Queen Elizabeth II, 7th Earl was her reading manager. King George, King Edward. Did you know that you were growing up in a castle when you were a kid, or was that just like, oh, this is home?
Well,
I mean, like seriously, did you know?
Actually, my grandfather lived to quite an age, so I lived at another house on the estate in those days. But I used to go up and see him. And of course, when you're quite small and you walk into this amazing building, it's kind of frightening because it's just so enormous and there's such a vast space. And then as you get older, you sort of more grow into it. But it's a very friendly place for our historic heritage, stately home. Highclere is a friendly building. It's not like a cold, fortified building.
Yeah, and then like your godmother happens to be, as I mentioned.
Well, she's a very special lady, longest reigning British monarch, Queen Elizabeth II. She's extraordinary.
That's pretty amazing stuff. All right, Richard, as Her Majesty's Consul General, what does that mean?
I am the UK government representative to the South Central states of the United States. So I have the joy of having to promote the UK here in Texas.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So I was going to ask you something. So like when I go out of town with my friends, like to another country, we pretend that we have another accent, and we start talking like this as well, right? And when y'all go out of town, do y'all do that too?
I can just about say y'all. That's,
okay,
that's as far as it goes, right?
All right.
I've only been here a little while.
All right. So how did the whole idea of Downton Abbey, how did that come about that it was done there?
Well, it was an extraordinary series of circumstances. We actually are friends with Julian and Emma Fellows, the script writer, Lord Fellows, as he is today, and he knew about Highclere, and he liked the idea of the place as basically the sort of foundational location for his script, for this credible story.
Yeah. All right. Richard, you mentioned that, kind of connecting the two countries and business-wise as well. And so we've got teacups this morning, but it's not tea that's in here. I have to admit, would you explain to people what's in the cup?
Well, it looks like water from here, but I don't think it is water. I think it could be gin.
Look, mine smells and tastes and looks different than yours. Because this is gin. All right, tell us about this endeavor right here.
Well, I'll leave it to Lord Carnarvon.
Well, this is a very exciting idea from the provenance of the history of entertaining at Highclere Castle. The Highclere Castle Gin is launched in Texas in the Goody Goody stores next week. So it's great to be here.
Yeah, and there's a lot that goes into this. It's built on the foundations of the medieval palace there, but also just different aromas, different things, different.
Yeah, when we had the idea of creating this product, we really wanted to make it sort of linked to the place, and we have a wonderful Victorian orangery full of citrus fruits and then lavender, which goes back. These lavender beds go back to the medieval bishops of Winchester, and also we grow oats on the farm. Now that's a sort of strange product that you'd think might be for gin, but we experimented and put some oats in, which is normally for horses, and it really creams the taste. And when we were making this thing, we used to dry all these different little tiny fruits like mini oranges and citrus and limes in the orangery, and we were going backwards and forwards to the distillery, and finally we got the taste absolutely right.
And you can smell it and you can taste it. I can taste that lavender and the citrus together, and it's really good.
Well, we think it's a really smooth, beautiful, original, a bit of British high quality.
Yeah,
product.
It's so smooth that I can have it at 9:52 in the morning.
It's midday somewhere.
Yeah. It's the world just revolves and goes round and round, and a lot of times we are unaware of just the things that happen. And a lot of us, we go about our day-to-day life and don't understand really the amount of money, the amount of commerce, the amount of that impacts our economy, that relationship with England.
So the UK and the US have probably the closest trading relationship in the world. I mean, it's about $182 billion of bilateral trade between the two countries. And Texas, being Texas, is a big chunk of that, something like 10 to 12% of all of our trade between the two countries. So about 1 million Americans go to work every morning in British-owned companies in the United States. And about 1 million British people go to work every morning in American-owned companies in the US. So we are major investors in each other's countries, and that's because we share the same values of free trade, clean business, and it's a really easy job for me here to kind of promote this further. And products like this come into the market. It's great. I mean, we have a great brand here, and the US has a great brand in the UK. So. Yeah.
Several years ago, I had breakfast with Prince Charles, and I asked him, we were in Dallas, and I said, so what do you think of Texas? And he goes, quite surprised I didn't see more horses. And things like, so what did you think of Texas before you ever came here?
Well, I have a little bit of a connection to the American West because my mum comes from Sheridan in Wyoming, which is a bit farther north. But of course, we always realise that Texas is the big state with the big oil business, and of course, there's cowboys here too. But of course, I think times have changed.
Wait till rodeo time.
Yeah, well,
well, plenty for you at rodeo time. And what do you tell people back at home?
I think it's the biggest challenge I have is that people in the UK have a perception of Texas. It's not a bad perception, but it's not an accurate one. So people think about TV programs like Dallas in the 70s and 80s or Western movies as children. And that's really not this sort of incredibly diverse Houston. Yeah. And the thing about the diversity of people and food, amazing culture in Houston, and to get people to understand that in the UK is one of the things I'm going to be working over the next couple of years, because there's so much to do here and there's so much business to do. But people don't come as tourists to Houston, but they really should.
Yeah, well, yeah, but people come here to live. They come here to work. But you're right.
Yeah.
Tourism is also great, and the food is absolutely amazing. All right, for people who have never been out of the country and never been to England, what do you want them to know about your country?
We're very welcoming to start with, and we have in a small space, we have some of the most extraordinarily beautiful countryside and ancient historic buildings that you could find in the world.
I have friends who are living in a house that was built like in 1500, and it's still standing just fine, right? Okay, you said that you're very welcoming. I am planning on going there over the holidays. I will come knock on your door.
You must come and see us at Highclere. And we have proper tea, served by Lewis, our butler, and the sandwiches and all the whole thing.
Highclere, they do tours there, right?
We do, absolutely, yes. And you can look online for everywhere when you want to come to when we're fully open, or when this time of year we do special tours with themes. Yeah. And my wife Fiona has just brought out Christmas at Highclere, which launches this week.
Oh, that's very cool. What do you want people to look at when they? Because first of all, you're just in awe of the buildings themselves, right? And that they can be that old. And you have more countryside than Texas has prairie. It's beautiful. And I think that every sheep in the world just about lives there. But what do you want people to leave with?
I think at the same point, we are a very welcoming country. We're also a very diverse country. London is, like Houston, an incredibly diverse city. So you can come and meet people from all around the world in London. But if you can get out of London, you can get. I mean, driving from here to Dallas is like driving from the south of England to the north of Scotland. We're not very big, but we have culture, we have history, we have sport, different sports. We don't have the Astros yet, but we have different sport. But we have music, we have everything. So it's a great place to come and visit.
Yeah, and I love the fact that you literally can, like you said, like driving across Texas can take you days, but you can go from Scotland to Ireland, England.
And you can see extraordinary variation and diversity in countryside and different types of gardens, the different style vernaculars of buildings, all within 3 hours in England.
Yeah, yeah. Because I actually went to Scotland looking for my family tree. People, Duncan. Anyone? Duncan?
It's a very Scottish name,
yeah. But it was very, very cool, and you're absolutely right about the fact that they were so very welcoming. For more information about the Consul General and Highclere Castle, you can visit greatdayhouston.com. And seriously, this is like, I've never really had gin before, but it is very smooth, and those flavors of that lavender and that citrus are amazing there. So thank you for dropping by.
A little piece of Highclere in your cup.
A little piece of Highclere in my cup. I love it. Okay, I want you to end things by saying having a great day and cheerio. Do you say cheerio anymore?
We do say cheerio.
Okay, okay. Have a great day and cheerio. Tell the people.
Cheerio. Have a great day and cheerio.
Thank you all very much for joining us. Hope to see you again tomorrow. Cheers. Cheers and cheerio, I should say.